In 2000, I was working on Hanging Family History, which is a self-portrait of all of my known ancestry. At that time, I got the information off Ancestral File. And I wanted to make a three-dimensional image of my known ancestry, which on Ancestral File was really quite extensive. And so I started out making paper triangles, and they were small with a wire armature and paper, and each person's name, vital information was written on each triangle. And so it started at the top with me, and my parents were hooked onto them, then the next triangles, and their parents hooked onto them, and their parents hooked onto them, and their parents hooked onto them, going back 72 generations and over 2,000 years to 9 AD. The questions I asked myself while I was making Hanging Family History were, what kind of life did this person live? What did it look like where this person lived? Are there any portraits or images of this person or of this woman? What was going on in history during this man's life? And how did he fit into the context of it? Who were their friends? These are the type of questions that I wondered about each person, because each of those people had a full, amazing life, full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows and tragedies. And every person was being condensed into one triangle to show this perspective of generational legacy of who we are here at the present day on this earth. This is what I used to create this. A bunch of pedigree charts, thousands in fact. They're not very interesting to look at. I've used these as a starting point for other works of art, that through my research, I've added landscapes, portraits, stories, anecdotal tales, and done that to kind of flesh out the bones of the vital data. In a sense, trying to bring these people to life. This is an 80-foot by 30-foot wall painting at the Queen's Museum of Art that brings to life the branch of my Norwegian ancestry. I got a grant to go there for 2 months to research this piece. Now, although it would be nice, we don't really need to go to places to gather much information about that much information about our ancestors. A good work of art or a good work of design is intrinsically beautiful. It attracts us. And when we find out what the function or the information or meaning is behind it, sometimes we're surprised. Sometimes we're even more excited and impressed because it's beautifully done. This is the advantage of presenting family history in a different way that attracts a different sort of person. Picture each person as a point of light on a dark background. Instead of resembling a double helix form, this might resemble the Milky Way or stars on a black night. In Hanging Family History, triangles were needed as a structural shape to bear the weight of the ancestors that were hanging off the original triangle. But on the internet, we don't have gravity. So, as the triangles were like this, with the parents, and then growing exponentially, it gets bigger. And in fact, the images will start overlapping. The points can be zoomed in upon. The points will grow bigger until the shape it has become which doesn't need to be a triangle, would better be represented as an oval. And then more ovals. These ovals could be linked together and animated in a way that is attractive and engaging. They would be animated with information that is known about this person. Users can upload information and photos about their ancestors, but now it can also be mined from newspapers, probate records, photos of present landscapes, paintings of historical landscapes, portraits, property, relatives, friends, neighbors, and military units, even buddies and mission companions can be linked as a social networking app, making it possible for people to contact their descendants and find out stories that have been passed down, or photography or images, including their ancestor. The ancestor's contemporary culture, historical significant events, and contemporaries overlaid on Google Earth, Wikipedia, historical maps and landscapes. Using Watson, these historical documents can be brought together to make a living, colorful, almost breathing view of our ancestors. The visual data will be animated on the shell of the egg. To add more information or to learn about each ancestor, the egg would need to be entered, and fragments of information linking them to this earth, landscape, and history can be delved into and added to. Every name has a story. Every name had a life. Every life has had an impact on those around them and those who follow. And every life can be better understood in the context of their present time. This new way of visualizing our family history will bring a tidal wave of new love for them, as well as knowledge and excitement about them.